Welcome to Tea with Lilybet. In this video, as I settle back into my home, I do a much needed declutter and reorganization of my pantry. I check in with my plants and share how my yearly capsule helped me to feel confident and put together while I was away. I also reflect on how my travels helped me to appreciate my beautiful little home even more and have a renewed sense of gratitude and contentment despite the inevitable challenges that life brings. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that I recently traveled to Sydney for a work conference. The trip lasted for 6 days, and the conference was definitely worthwhile attending. I got lots of tips and ideas to use with my clients, and I'm sure it's going to benefit them and me on an ongoing basis. Some of you may also know that I have chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME/CFS, and that definitely impacted me while I was away. I usually travel with my sister, and I've gone away with her quite a few times on holidays. So it was a little bit daunting going away on my own. So I was a bit nervous how I would go with the travel and attending the conference for so many days. I've just arrived, and this is my suite. Bathroom on the left here is lovely. And then bedroom behind these beautiful sheer curtains with a robe and mirror, and lovely living space, kitchen, and I'm on the 7th floor, so it's not an amazing view, but at least it is a view. I think it's a park over there. The conference was held in Parramatta, which is a satellite city just outside of Sydney. I visited Parramatta around 30 years ago, and it has changed so much. It had been massively upgraded. It was full of modern buildings alongside of beautiful historical buildings and digs that have been preserved. And then there was the river that wove around the town. It had beautiful birds and wildlife and really pretty walks. There's a lot of development there, and you can see it's a city that's really focused on the future. I got there the day before the conference, and then the conference went for 3 days, and I did okay with my energy for most of that time, but towards the very end, I started to feel a lot of fatigue. The plan was always to attend the conference and then have a little rest and catch up with a few friends before I traveled back home. And originally I had planned to stay 8 days, but the week before the conference, I started to feel really uncomfortable about that, and I reduced it to 6 days. I'm so glad I decided to come back early, because by about day 4 or 5, I was struggling with my energy and starting to think about wanting to come home. The very first thing that I did when I got home was check on Ludwig, my grass tree, and I was so excited to see that the spike flower was doing really well. It had actually grown quite a lot. And yeah, it wasn't drooping at all. So I'm really happy that it survived my trip, because that was one of the things that I was really worried about in leaving the apartment. I did have those self-watering canisters attached to the side of the pot, but my sister also came over a few days after I left and gave it a huge watering. So I'm sure that really helped it to survive. And actually all my plants are doing well and look so beautiful. The plants that I took over to my sister's house are also thriving, and the little baby's tears has started to recover just through getting dried out from sun exposure. But it was in a really shaded spot on my sister's balcony, and it started to grow in, and you can hardly see that burnt out patch now. So I was so excited to see that all of my plants were absolutely fine, and yeah, they were well taken care of while I was away. But it was really lovely to go to Sydney. I lived in Sydney from the beginning of 2008 to the end of 2013. My relationship broke up when I was there, and I ended up moving out on my own. And it was a real time of change and personal development for me. So I had a lot of nostalgia about going back there. And being in all of these familiar places really took my mind back to what my life was like before I got sick. Over the past 10 years, I've actually spent quite a bit of time looking backwards to that time when I was in Sydney. And I've often wondered what my life would have been like had I never become unwell. But on this trip, I really realized that I was ready to turn the page on that time in my life and finally move on. I enjoyed being in the city. I loved catching up with my friends. But as the trip started to come to an end, I was so excited about coming home and coming back to my beautiful little apartment. I was also super happy with the clothing that I took with me, except for about 3 items. I wore absolutely everything that I took, and it was perfect for the weather. I wore the white dress a couple of times, and I felt so pretty and confident wearing it. The striped pants were fantastic. My denim skirt and my linen jacket, which I ended up wearing on the plane, and my denim jacket, I wore that so much as well. So it all just worked out perfectly. Even the shoes and my bag. I did put a couple of stains in my clothing. This is the top here. Got this little stain remover by Dirt. And it's in a little pump spray, which means you can sort of take it with you. I didn't take it on my trip because I just forgot I had it. But what happened was I was just holding a cup of coffee at the conference, and the little lid had a hole in it. And I was just sitting there, and this coffee just dripped down me. Had to run off to the bathroom and try and get the stain out. And I thought I'd gotten it all out. So I'm just going to leave this to soak for a few hours before I put it through the wash. And then there's this long line cardigan. I did end up taking this with me, but unfortunately something spilled on it before I could wear it. And I washed it while I was in Sydney, but I realized that there's a little stain that still hasn't come off. There's 2 little marks there. There's one there and one there. I don't want it to discolor the yarn at all, so I'm going to put this one straight in the wash. And the pants that I took away as well can go in. The pantry has been bugging me for quite a few weeks. It's gotten a bit messy, and I really haven't done a big reorganization since I got the custom drawers installed. So it's overdue for me to reassess it and move things around and just make the whole thing work a little bit more smoothly. I want to get this done because I just think it's going to bring my stress down and make my experience of using the kitchen a little bit easier. I've got 7 pull-out drawers and 2 shelves at the top. Just looking at each drawer, the bottom one has all of my Tupperware in it, and this is a drawer that changes a lot because I take things out of here all the time, use them, clean them, and put them back. It's always in a state of change, but I'm not sure that I have enough space for all the things that I use. So I've created a little overflow area for my plastic containers in the cupboard above my sink. I need to really think about if this is the best place for them, or perhaps there's some place that's more accessible. The next drawer definitely needs a rethink. I've got my juicer in here, and this is a little blender that I use. It's a sort of a small size blender that I use for chopping up nuts and bits and pieces. And that's the top of the juicer. And then I've got potatoes and onions in here, bread. This will actually go in the freezer, but I do like to keep fresh bread in here sometimes. And this is a little snack area. So yeah, I think maybe I need to move the juicer somewhere else because I'm not using that a lot at the moment. My supplements and spices drawer. I want to keep using this drawer as is. I just need to go through it and remove anything that's out of date and give it a bit of a clean. The next drawer is for teas and coffees. And then I've got things like snacky stuff, sweets, honey, sweeteners, like stevia. That's an almond spread. So yeah, sort of snacky things. So I need to just go through that and remove anything that I'm not using. And this is one of my main drawers that I use on a daily basis. And I would love this to be a little bit neater and maybe move things that I don't use as often. My olive oil and vinegar I use all the time, and that's a gluten-free soy. And these things like my buckwheat flour, cinnamon, my gluten-free oats, and nuts, those things I use quite a lot. But there's a few things in here that I don't use that often. And then this drawer here, this drawer was originally for all of Millie's things, and I haven't sorted it out since then. It's just become a big jumbled mess. These are little liners for my air fryer. And I've got oats that really need to be stored because I've got a container of them in the lower shelf. And paper towels and extra cinnamon. And yeah, I think I could probably make better use of this space. And then I'm not even sure what's up in this drawer. I'll have to get a ladder to be able to see this. Okay. Oh yeah, so I've got extra supplies that I don't use that often. Extra teas. Some dates that probably need to be thrown out. Salt, sugar. Yeah, extra refills. Yeah, that one's definitely a bit of a mess. And then up the top here, I've got some baking dishes and a platter and a bowl. So yeah, that's the state of my pantry. I can definitely do better than this. The first thing I'm going to do is take everything out of the pantry and give the drawers a wipe down.
I burned out like a wandering ember. I shone bright, then my journey was over. What I sought when I ran was back where I began. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. Well, I scratched in the dirt for a while. I gained all that I knew for a price. In the end, what I found was nowhere near as nice. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
On this door. Whoa. Okay. This just came off the wall, so I think I'm going to put it aside till I'm finished. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawers to fill. And I'm going to leave this one till a little bit later because it's going to be a hassle to take all that stuff out. And I've already got a counter full of things. So this is everything that's come out of those 6 shelves. And plus these appliances. So my next step is to sort through all of these things on this bench and get rid of all of the food that's out of date and anything that I've had in there for a long time that I haven't used or I don't think I'm going to use. And then at least I'll know what I have to work with and what needs to fit in those shelves.
Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. Though I fought with my claws and teeth, though I elbowed my way to a seat, there be no kind of peace like you beside me. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
I didn't actually end up decluttering that many things. I'm going to keep all of these items, some of which will have to be put into containers or wiped down because they're a bit sticky. But the things that I'm decluttering are all of these. And I also had some containers that were either empty or nearly empty or had things that were really old. I'm probably going to find a new home for these appliances. I'll have to wash these containers so I can reuse them. And some of these items are then going to go in these containers. And then I can start working out which shelf they're going to go in and putting them away.
Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Nothing's as it seems in the photo. Nothing is as sweet going solo. Nowhere I can ramble or roam. Could change my mind, could slow my coming home.
I'm ready to put some things back. I'm going to start with the shelves that I'm not changing, the tea and the supplements and spices. Then I can work on the more challenging shelves. I've got to decide what goes onto here, so I'm going to do this in order of priority. Oil and vinegar is definitely a yes for this shelf. My buckwheat flour and my oats. I've got two kinds of oats. Oil spray and gluten-free soy sauce. Those are the other oats. My cinnamon and my baking powder. I use this every single day nearly for my pancakes. Some salmon slices, rice. This is pasta sauce. Chicken stock probably belongs here as well. And some chickpeas, which I'm trying to get back into. Maybe the brown rice goes at the back. Chickpeas. Will this fit in there? If I do this. And these ones go here. Oops. The second bottom shelf I'm going to use for snacks, I think. All my nuts, Brazil nuts, pepitas, sultanas, and walnuts, popcorn, chia seeds, crackers. These are my pistachios, which I have all the time. Crackers. I think the maca powder is going to go down here because some of this stuff does go into smoothies. I need to find room on this shelf for oil. Coconut oil. I don't use it a lot, but it does get used. That does fit in. Cool. With the main 4 drawers organized, my next task was to decide what to do with the top 2 drawers. They're a bit harder for me to reach, and I generally need to use either the lower step stool or the step ladder to get up to them. So I've decided to keep spare paper towels, my SodaStream refill, and my baking supplies and other things that I don't access as often, and refills for some of the foods that I have on the lower drawers. So now I want to address this drawer with all of the plastic containers. And what I'm going to do is take out everything that I don't use very often first. Things like this and these lids, or this, or these silicone lids. I also decided to get the extra containers down from the cupboard above the sink, so I know what I have to work with. I'm not going to change the way I use this one too much because it is working. I do find it very convenient to take the containers out of this drawer. But I just have some things in there that I don't use as often, so might as well remove those. I've decided to just utilize this space as an overflow for containers. Why not? I have the space available. It means I'm going to have to adjust the shelf a little bit, but I'm okay to do that. And now it's time to throw out the old expired foods and restore some order to my kitchen.
So glad
so this is the end result of my pantry. From the bottom shelf, just cleaned up the containers, and I'm keeping the priority containers in here. This shelf has become a snack shelf with all of my nuts and dried fruit, popcorn, chia seeds, things to make smoothies, my pistachios, crackers, and I've got a loaf of bread there, chocolate bar in the corner. This shelf is as it always was. I've just cleaned it up a little bit, wiped down my containers. So spices at the back. These are the ones that I use the most often. And same with the supplements. My most often used ones are at the front. The next shelf is as it was, with sweeteners and spreads at the front, coffees and teas. And this shelf is probably the one that's had the most change. I've moved the potatoes to this shelf. The oils are all here. And then these are all the items that I use the most regularly. My flour, my oats, and some grocery items that I want to use up. The next shelf doesn't have much on it. This is a bag that I use for my work. I take cold foods in it for snacks. And these are the liners for my air fryer. So I can put more on that shelf if I need to, but for now it's fine. And this top shelf, baking supplies and refills for some of the items in the lower shelves. Things like salt, extra tea, my paper towels. Yeah, it's just sort of an overflow drawer. And those top two shelves I haven't changed at all. They're as they were. So that is my pantry declutter. It's looking a lot better now. I'm going to enjoy using this so much. And then these cupboards are the other ones that I made some changes. The juicer that was in the pantry on one of the lower shelves is now here with the small blender. I've moved my vases and my jug up, and that's just the same at the top shelf. In the cupboard above my sink, my glasses are all as they were, that bottom shelf. And I've just got this overflow area for my plastic containers. These are mainly the Systema ones, which don't fit as neatly in the other cupboard. And I've moved some glassware from this cupboard over here onto the top shelf. They're items that I don't use very much. I've also put my coffee plungers up there. They were on this lower shelf, so they've just gone up a little bit higher. Now that I have the coffee machine, I hardly use it. So I've really been able to utilize some of this empty space that was in this cupboard to hold items that I don't use very often. I can always use this little step ladder or my bigger ladder to get up there when I need to. Here's my garbage and recycling that I need to take out. Before I finish for the day, I just want to put these items into the washing machine that I've had soaking. Unsurprisingly, I had a huge crash in my energy when I got home. I think I felt exhaustion because just doing all the travel and attending the conference and the early hours that I had for the conference, that's not my normal routine. But despite feeling a bit rough, it was so wonderful to come home to this beautiful apartment. It's really the perfect place to recover in. I've been enjoying the peace and quiet so much. And coming back to this place has been a big reminder of how lucky I am to be living this life, to have such a beautiful home. Thank you for joining me as I've been settling back into my apartment after my trip to Sydney and the new appreciation I have for my beautiful little home. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up It really helps my channel. And if you aren't already subscribed, I would love to welcome you to this channel. So thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.